Y'all, check this cute shirt I got at Target. Like, that's cute. Like, that's cute. Oh my god, wait, I gotta show you my stocking. Oh my god. Alright. Alright, okay. There we go. Oh, wait. There we go. Bam. Cute, right? Yeah. Hey guys, what's up? Your girl Jess here. Back with another video. I was supposed to be back with two videos, but yeah, I got a real quick lesson in copyright laws about that, and so I cannot post them on YouTube. What I was attempting to do was watch two separate episodes of one of my all-time favorite shows as a kid, Are You Afraid of the Dark, for spooky season, for Spooktober, with you guys, and you watch me give my ridiculous commentary as I watch the show with you. And despite having actually purchased and therefore own the episodes, I still was not allowed to post them onto YouTube, and that was a fucking bummer. So I decided to try and come up with something really quick to talk to you guys about in regards to like Spooktober, you know, keeping with the theme. And I was racking my brain, and I was like, why not just make it easier on myself and have a good time, and not make anything a little too complicated, and just talk about my favorite horror movies with you guys. And I didn't think I had that many. I honestly thought it was going to be like a list of probably like 11 to 15, something like 10 to 15, something like that. I honestly did not think that I liked that many horror movies because it's not one of my favorite genres. But as I was like writing it out, like I didn't count how many, but it's more than I thought. And I was like, oh wow, I do like horror movies. I'm just very picky about which ones I like and why. So let's get started and do that. You know, I am a product of film school. I am a film school tool. I have a film school degree. I am a cinephile and a film nerd and all of that in between. So when discussing horror movies, I'm going to be really gross and just start with the classics, of course. Wolfman, Dracula, The Creature from the Black Lagoon, The Bride of Frankenstein, The Mummy. Oh my god, The Mummy. And yeah, I think that's it for as far as, yeah, the classic horrors. Dude, when Universal was like going to revamp their whole dark universe and bring back all the classic horror horror monsters, I was like so here for it. And then The Mummy with Tom Cruise came out, and I was just kind of like, no thank you. And apparently collectively the world said the exact same thing. By the way, this list is in no particular order whatsoever. You know, let's get the ball rolling. Okay, first up, The Monster Squad. I am a geriatric millennial who is going to fuck up whoever came up with that phrase, whoever came up with that label. But given my age and being of a particular generation, I remember Monster Squad, and I absolutely remember loving it. And I know everyone in my age bracket loves it and knows it, and it's just great. It's on YouTube for free. Please watch it if you've never gotten a chance to take a look at it. It's so good. It's like a horror teen comedy. It's about a bunch of kids who are obsessed with monsters and classic monster movies, and their town gets overrun by them, like The Creature from the Black Lagoon and The Mummy and Frankenstein and Dracula. They all come to their town, and these kids, these rando young kids, have to do everything in their power to stop them. And it's great. It's great. So, and it's very funny, and it's totally 80s. It's absolutely 80s, and I love it. So yes, if you have not seen Monster Squad, it's on YouTube for free. Please check it out. Next, we have Beetlejuice. Self-explanatory. I already love me some Michael Keaton, and then comedy. Michael Keaton is such an underrated comedian, and he started out in comedy. So, those of you who are younger than me know him now in these more dramatic roles. And yes, he did a few of them in the 80s and 90s, but he's mainly a comedy actor. He started out doing stand-up, and so he is at his comedy best in Beetlejuice. And Beetlejuice is back when I used to love Tim Burton before all his horribly racist comments came to light um, about black people not being his aesthetic. But yeah, Beetlejuice is seriously one of my favorite movies. I love Gina Davis in it. I love Alec Baldwin in it. Alec Baldwin's hot in it, by the way. Like with the glasses and the chest hair. Oh my god. Anyway, Winona Ryder, Catherine O'Hara, like at the table scene where they they sing Deo, like, come on. And I love the effort I see every year when people try to recreate the costume of Beetlejuice and Lydia. Like, it's just so cool to see. And it's an elaborate costume. It is both costumes are very elaborate. So you're spending some money if you decide to couples costume as Beetlejuice and Lydia. But I love that movie. It's hilarious. It's great. The Ring, the first one, not any of the ones that came after it, but The Ring scared the shit out of me. And before I saw The Ring, I had just swore off horror movies because I was just kind of like, they're all trash. They're just slasher films. They're gross. They just, they're just doing things for shock value. Like, it's not real suspense, not real horror, blah, blah, blah. Then my good friend Chris and I went to the movies. He convinced me to go to the movies to go see The Ring with him. And I was like, okay. And I saw it, terrified me. And it was like, I loved it. It was amazing. I thought Naomi Watts was great in it. I wish I could remember the kid who played her son in it, his name. But he was fantastic in it. But it really brought me back to horror. I was like, okay, this is a horror movie. This is exactly what I've been looking for. And not like that Eli Roth shit. Like, I can't do Eli Roth. I really fucking can't. Anyway, but yeah, The Ring, great movie, loved it. A Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy Krueger is probably one of my favorite horror villains. He started out, terrifying, and then he just became like this comedian throughout his whole series, like cracking jokes and scaring kids in the weirdest, funniest ways. But regardless of all that, like the first Nightmare on Elm Street, the one with Johnny Depp, it's just really good, and it's really frightening, and the story behind it's great. Like, Freddy Krueger's this guy in this neighborhood who, like, he was a fucking child molester, and the parents, like, activated their mom mentality, burned him, and now he haunts their kids in their dreams. Like, that's an interesting premise. So, and from what I understand, Wes Craven based it on like a news article or something he read about a guy who was having horrible night terrors and died having them because he was afraid of whatever was happening in his dreams was going to kill him, and it did. And that's interesting. But yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street. Misery is probably one of the smartest, most intriguing, and well acted horror movies I've ever seen. I absolutely love it. I think it is top tier. I don't even think it's top tier horror. I think it's a top tier movie. I think it's great. Kathy Bates is great in it. James Caan. Like, if you've never seen Misery, please exit out of this video and go fucking see it. I mean, it's chef's kiss. It's really good. Like I said, it goes beyond horror. It's just a great movie, period. Candyman is not that great of a movie. We're talking about the original Candyman, by the way. I have not seen the remake yet. But yeah, we're talking about the original Candyman, and only the first one. I think there's 2 more after, I think. And I didn't even bother with those because why should you? But the original Candyman, I liked the background story of the villain. I liked that it was set in a city, and it was a commentary on it was a social economic commentary on black people in the past and in the future, and how they both connect. And I thought it was really interesting that they actually shot it in Chicago at Cabrini Green. And if you know anything about the Cabrini Green projects, you know that, like, that's kind of, you know, that's interesting. That's a big deal, and it's really fascinating to kind of set a horror movie there. But yeah, Candyman's on the list. Love it. Child's Play, the first one, with what's her name? I think her name is Catherine Henderson or Catherine Hendricks. I don't know. I can't remember. But she was the mom on Seventh Heaven. But she plays the mom of Andy in the original Child's Play. And I love the original Child's Play. Like, it frightened the hell out of me when I was a kid. I mean, come on. Like, you can't tell a girl, you can't get a girl who's into dolls to watch a horror movie about her dolls coming to life and trying to convince her to murder people or murdering people themselves. Like, that's frightening. It scared the hell out of me, to the point where I didn't watch it again until I was an adult. But yeah, Child's Play, the original Child's Play, is great. I love the miniseries, the one with Jonathan Brandis and who else is in it? John Ritter he's in the part 2 as I think Tim Reed, I think that's his name. He's in the part 2 as well. But the miniseries that used to come on TV all the time, I friggin' loved it. Yes, the part 2 of the adults is lacking. It's lacking as fuck. But I still enjoyed it. I still liked it. But the It that's on this list is the 2017? Yeah, the 2017 one with Bill Skarsgård. First off, I absolutely love Bill Skarsgård. I mean, girl, like 6'4", big green eyes, dorky cute. I'll take it. Like, but aside from being a very attractive Swedish man, the movie itself is just good. It's just, Anthony Muschietti really directed that movie very, very well. The kids are amazing in it. Like, they really revamped the story and told a really great one. It's long as hell though. Oh my god. I do remember being in theater, and about like a half hour before it ends, I was just kind of like, oh my god, it's still going, but still interested, still fascinated, still interesting, still love it. But I was just kind of like, damn, this is still going. And then I remember watching it at home, and about like an hour and a half into it, I was like, damn, this movie's long. But still, I love it. I think it's great. It's on the list. Paranormal Activity, the first one. I absolutely love it. And I absolutely love the story behind it. I love that it was this, I think it was made for what, like $11,000, anywhere from $11,000 to $15,000. I've heard differently throughout the years, about how much it was made for, and, just blew up. And like, it just shows what you can do with a little bit of cash and some camera and some creativity, you know, and that like, movies just have to be good and just well written. They don't have to cost, you know, $150 million sometimes. I say sometimes because I would never watch an $11,000 Marvel movie. Like, never catch me doing that. Oh, A Quiet Place 2. I like A Quiet Place 2 better than I like the first one. The first one wasn't bad. I just, John Krasinski's acting in it was just not good. Like, it was not good. And the most pivotal part of the whole movie, where he has to scream really loud in order to attract the monsters to get them away from his kids and wife so they could survive. It was just, I don't know, it was just, it didn't hit that hard emotionally for me, and I felt like it could have been better. But yeah, his acting in it was stagnant. I will say the absolute beginning of that film is amazing. So everybody knows film rules. Or studio film rules. Studio film rules are that you don't kill animals and you can't kill kids, because immediately you've taken the audience out. They don't want to deal with it. They don't want to be a part of that. John Wick, and who kills the animals, who killed the dog, and A Quiet Place, who kills the youngest son in the first like 5 minutes of the film, completely, you know, just make that those film rules moot. Like, it's not true. If you like, the audience will stick with you if the story's good, or you know, if it's interesting, they want it. And quite frankly, after they killed the kid, I was like, holy shit, I want to see where this is going. Same thing with John Wick. Like, the whole time I'm watching, I'm like, they're not gonna kill the dog. They killed the fucking dog, and I was like, oh my god, where is this going? Because I feel like it's going to be amazing. So, but yeah, A Quiet Place 2, though, I liked a lot more. Um, Part of that's because Cillian Murphy was in it. But, I felt like John Krasinski was the weakest link in the first one, and he wasn't that much in the second one, just in, the beginning flashback, and I thought that was enough. And I thought he was great in just that flashback. And I felt like centering it on Emily Blunt and the two kids and Cillian Murphy was just enough, and that was good. So yeah, I like The Quiet Place 2 better than I like the first one. Scream, the original one, and just the first one. And I mean the original one with Neve Campbell, Matthew Lillard, Jamie Kennedy, Drew Barrymore, Rose McGowan. Like, I was obsessed with that movie in high school. I absolutely loved it. By the time I had reached high school, I had already decided that I wanted to go to film school. And watching a horror movie that deconstructs horror movies was just fascinating to me, while still being a horror movie. Like, it was just so good. I thought all the actors were great, and so I was here for it. So, and I had like a little bit of crush on Matthew Lillard for a while there. I know, he's probably my strangest Hollywood crush. Actually, no. I think my strangest celebrity crush is Patton Oswalt. I follow him on Twitter. He's absolutely fucking funny, and he's like super progressive politically, so I absolutely adore him. The Lost Boys. It's a horror comedy. I would call it actually a horror teen dramedy. And it's really good. And I love me some Kiefer Sutherland. Like, Kiefer Sutherland is one of those people that over the years, that when he pops up in something, or he's, spearheading a project or whatever, I'm automatically interested. I think he's a fantastic actor, and I think he does not get his due. I think his personal problems have overshadowed how well of an actor, how good of an actor he is. And I'm always interested in his choices, and he's fantastic in The Lost Boys. And The Lost Boys in general is just good. Like, the two Coreys are in it. I mean, Jason Patrick plays the lead. Like, it's just about a bunch of teen vampires hanging out in, is it Santa Cruz, or was the town made up, but they shot it in Santa Cruz? I think, I can't remember the name of the California town that they were supposed to be living in, but I think it was made up, but they shot everything in Santa Cruz. I don't know why they didn't just call it Santa Cruz, but love The Lost Boys. Pet Sematary. Again, I'm going to be saying this over and over, because they just make horror movies. Just reboot, remake, sequel after sequel. It's just ridiculous. But next on my list is Pet Sematary, the original one, the first one. I love that movie. It's so good. I would actually dare to call it a horror drama, because it really, when you watch it, and then his son dies and he wants to just bring him back, like, it just, to me, it just immediately switches to a family drama that has horror elements. Like, I just love that movie. I think it's so good. I will never forget the fact that the cat's name is Church. For some reason, I always thought that was a really cool name for a cat, or just a very clever one. Of course, there's that creepy scene where he cuts his foot tendons. Oh my god. By the way, I wish I could remember his name, but that's the gentleman who played Herman Munster on The Munsters. For years, I had watched that movie and did not know that until a friend of mine, I think in college. I think it took me all the way to college for a friend of mine to be, and like the whole, several times I'd seen that movie, I kept saying to myself, that man's familiar. I wonder what I've seen him in. I never bothered to look it up or forgot. And then it wasn't until it was my college roommate that was like, told me that, that's the dad from The Munsters, right? The one that played Frankenstein. And you could have knocked me over with a feather. Ready or Not. I was not expecting to like that film. I really wasn't. And I thought it was really cool. And I thought it was really funny at times. And I thought Samara Weaving and Adrian Brody, who were in it, were great. So yeah, it's on the list. Get Out. Self-explanatory. If you don't like the film Get Out, you can get out of my face. Like, it's brilliant. And you can tell so much social commentary through horror. And people have throughout the years, throughout the decades, since Nosferatu. But Get Out brought it back front and center, and I thought it was great. Unfortunately, what Get Out has done, what Jordan Peele has unfortunately done with the success of that film, is created this subgenre of social commentary films, particularly aimed at black people or by black people, in which just black trauma is exploited. And I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. I'm all for black people getting work and doing creative stuff and showing their face in every genre. But like I'm just over the black trauma films. Like I just even if you disguise it in horror, like no, thank you. All right, you know, the last thing I think I dealt with that I actually enjoyed was Lovecraft Country. So yeah, no, I'm kind of over that. Like I want coming of age stories, I want romance films, I want time travel films, I want we could do black people doing horror films, like haunted house films and shit. It doesn't have to be necessarily this hardcore commentary on race or social economic issues. Like can't black people just be haunted? can, or fight ghosts or monsters or Freddy Krueger or something? I mean, I understand that the temptation being there of wanting to tell a broader story, but sometimes I just want some cheese. Sometimes I just want some surface level cheese, some Velveeta, some not cheese. I don't know where to go with that metaphor. Ignore me. But you know what I mean. Coraline. I absolutely love Coraline, and Coraline's one of the very few costumes every Halloween that I'm really excited to see people, create. Ordinarily every Halloween I get tired of the same costumes, but Coraline's one of those ones where every time I see someone on social media or out in the street wearing a Coraline costume, I'm like, right there. Black Christmas, the 1974 version. The version they did in the 2000s with, I think, Lacey Shelber is in it, wasn't too bad. But I really like the 1974 version. I absolutely love the idea of setting a horror movie at Christmas time. And that was the first time I ever seen a horror movie that was set at that time. Because you don't think of bad, tragic, horrible, violent, bloody things happening at Christmas. That's not what we're sold. So to see it was just really interesting, really good. I loved it. I'll tell you guys a little secret. A very, very good friend of mine wrote the remake to the latest Black Christmas remake. And I saw it, and you should check it out. Oh, Midsummer. Ari Aster is such an interesting director. I first heard of him years ago when he did that short film, There's Something Wrong with the Johnsons, or something about the Johnsons, or something like that. If you've never seen it, I think it's free on YouTube or some short film website or something like that. You can watch it at no cost to you. It is disturbing. It's not a horror movie. It's a family drama, and it's probably the most fucked up family drama I've ever seen. But after I saw it, it haunted me. It stayed with me for days. I could not stop thinking about it, and I had to tell everybody about it. I was like, oh my God, please watch this. I need to discuss this with somebody because, it's just sitting in my brain, and I don't know what to do with that. So when he, created Hereditary, and I saw it, and I was like, shit. And then I knew I definitely had to go see Midsommar. I was just kind of like, man, Ari Aster is such a strange dude, but such an interesting filmmaker. I will say about Midsommar, I am not in the crowd that Danny was right. I actually am on Team Boyfriend. I forgot his name. But I didn't think Homie was shitty. I really didn't. Maybe at some other point we'll talk about it. Or you can ask me in the comments. But yeah. Whenever I talk about that film with people, I always, let them know, hey, Danny's the villain. It's not the boyfriend. At least in my opinion. Split. James McAvoy gives this brilliant Oscar-winning performance, and I'm so salty to this day that he wasn't at the very least nominated, because he played so when you play a character with DID, you run the risk of it being cartoonish, and he did a fantastic job at it. he took it, you can tell he took it very seriously. Like, James McAvoy is one of those actors who I believe takes everything very seriously, except the X-Men films. From what I hear, after Days of Future passed, like, he just started phoning it in, and you could kind of see it a little bit in his performance. But other than those, like, I've never seen him in something and felt like he was just dialing it in, that he was just there for a paycheck. And Split is one of those movies where, like, he is given it his all, and it is working, and it is amazing, and that whole movie rests on his shoulders, on his back. And I thought he did a fantastic job at it. I thought the movie itself was interesting. I love the fact that it was tied into the Glass universe, even though it didn't pan out well. And by pan out well, I mean the third entry of that trilogy was absolute garbage, and I'm glad it ended. But yeah, James McAvoy, like, he carries that whole film. It is frightening. Like, the part where he just gets into the car with the girls, oh my god, and just kidnaps them, that's frightening. That's fucking frightening. But yeah, I will forever be salty that he was not nominated for an Oscar for that. Summer of '84. Summer of '84 is one of those word of mouth movies that I saw. Like, knew nothing about it, heard friends talking about it, friends who I had, gone to film school with, or whose film taste that I trust. And so I checked it out, absolutely loved it, and it's on the list. It's really good, and it's a fantastic throwback to, like, 80s horror slasher films. It's so good. Please watch it if you can. Next, The Invisible Man, the latest one with what's her name? Elizabeth. Oh, what's her name? Elizabeth. From Handmaid's Tale. God damn it, I can't remember her name. But it was really good. I thought she was great in it. Again, another horror movie that has, like, social commentary about domestic abuse and how women are treated in those situations. I thought it was really interesting that they took it, even though it's called The Invisible Man, it's really about her, who's the invisible woman. It's so good. It's so good. Thought it was great. A+, loved it. I didn't know if I should put this next one on the list, but I did anyway, and that's Signs. I absolutely love Signs. I know over the years people have poked holes in the plot of Signs, and I get it, but I truly love Signs. Oh, I have Signs on here, and I didn't put my favorite M. Night Shyamalan movie on here, The Village. Oh my god. I absolutely love The Village. When The Village came out, it got the shittiest reviews. People dumped all over it. And, like, everybody associated with it had to go into hiding, and it pissed me off because I absolutely love that film. The reason I love The Village is because, M. Night Shyamalan has a twist in all his movies. And the reason I love The Village is because the twist isn't a monster. The twist is a film genre. It goes from you watching a horror movie, or what you think is a horror movie, and then it turns into a fucking drama. And it turns into a commentary about violence and grief and survivor's guilt. It's so deeper than I think people ever give it credit for, and it just irritates my soul that everybody wants to list it among one of his bad films, and I strongly disagree. Next we have Sinister, the Ethan Hawke movie. That movie was creepy as fuck. It scared me properly, and that's why it's on the list. Happy Death Day, the first one. I thought it was interesting. Just like Ready or Not, I was not prepared to like it. I didn't think I would. I checked it out. It was really good. Cracked me up at some places. So, there we go. The Strangers, the one with Liv Tyler and Scott Speedman. It's not a good movie, but I personally enjoyed it. And plus, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm very partial to Liv Tyler. I don't know why. It's something about her gorgeous face that I absolutely freaking love. And I really, really hope they bring her back to the MCU as Betty Ross. But yeah, The Strangers, it's not good. It's not even really mediocre. I honestly think it's just not a good horror movie at all. But I personally was invested in it. I liked all the creepy it factors. I think the reason why I liked it so much is because monsters rarely terrify me. People who do unspeakable, evil, violent things for no fucking reason other than to be evil and unspeakably violent frighten me, because that's real. Those people exist. Those people are out there. Sociopaths and psychopaths walk amongst us. So that to me will always be fucking terrifying, way more terrifying than like a wolf man, you know, than Freddy Krueger, than a doll who comes to life through voodoo. So yeah, I recognize that The Strangers, it's not a good movie, but what frightened me about it was enough for me to put it on this list and for me to like it and enjoy it and be terrified by it. Rosemary's Baby's on here, of course. I grew up in a very Christian home. So the idea of having Satan's baby was terrifying. I'm not a Christian. I haven't been since college. I've left that behind. But having grown up in a Christian home, yeah, religious horror movies terrify me, which is why the next one on this list is The Omen. The Omen fucked me up too. I put off watching The Omen for a very long time, and it wasn't until I was in high school that I finally watched it, and I realized, okay, I think I could do it. I think I could not be a total bitch and cry my eyes out and hide in the corner and have nightmares for forever if I watched this during the daytime, and it worked. I watched it at 3 p.m. Like a chicken, and doing so helped me enjoy it, and I was like, okay, this is good, and I actually had a decent night's sleep that night. So, but I thought it was actually really good. And Gregory Peck is in it. Atticus. Come on. From To Kill a Mockingbird. I mean, yeah. The Craft, obsessed with it in middle school. Seventh? Yeah, it was 7th grade that I saw it. Obsessed with it. I wanted to be a witch. I wanted to join a coven. I was friends with a bunch of girls who we all tried to be witches, but we didn't put that much effort into it. We were all too fucking lazy to actually continually be witches. But there was like a good month where we thought we were practicing witchcraft. As I say that, I grew up in this very Christian house. But yeah, 7th grade, I was obsessed with The Craft, and I've loved it ever since. I did not watch the remake because I love myself. Okay. I have The Covenant on this list. It is absolutely terrible. It is a bad film, and I love every frame of it. It's about boy witches, and it is the most homoerotic thing you've ever seen. It's not even subtextual. It's all out there in the front. And Sebastian Stan plays the bad guy. Oh, it's one of those like early career movies for an actor that you hope gets buried under the floor somewhere and no one ever sees it. But you know, Sebastian Stan having joined the MCU and gained a lot of popularity and become the famous person that he is now. It has resurfaced and it is a thing now. It's not a cult classic. It's just one of those things where like it's like if you're a Sebastian Stan fan, it's like, girl, have you seen The Covenant? And it's like, yes, bitch, let's talk. It's so bad. If I had all those good-looking boys in one movie, they'd be boy witches and shirtless the whole time too. But yes, it is legit terrible and amazing at the same time. Monster House. Oh my god. Monster House is so good and it's so sad. It's so sad. Like, once you get to the end, you're in tears. Like, oh my god. And it's not even, like, once you get to the end, you realize it's not even a real horror film. It's this drama, this like sad family drama. Oh god, it's fantastic. It's so good. I actually, I think I'm going to rent it off at Apple TV and watch it on my birthday on Monday. But yeah, it's good. It's so good, and it's terribly sad, but I love it. What do we have here? Oh, The Witches. The original with Angelica Houston. The British one. The British version from the 80s with Angelica Houston. Fire. It's fucking fire. When they remade it with Anne Hathaway, who I love, by the way, but when they remade it with Anne Hathaway, I knew it was going to be hot trash. I knew it was, but I watched it anyway, and I was angry. I was angry because, like the Monster Squad, it's one of like those movies that I grew up with and I absolutely fucking love, and I was so mad somebody touched it. But I thought maybe, actually no, I didn't think, like I said, I didn't think maybe it was gonna be good. I knew it was gonna be garbage, but I watched it anyway because apparently I'm a film masochist, and I had never been so angry. It was so bad. And I love Chris Rock, but he does not have a good narration voice. So that took me out of it. I can't even talk about it. It's bad. Don't watch the Anne Hathaway one. Watch the Angelica Houston one. She's chewing up so much scenery, but it's fantastic the way she does it, and it's amazing. So good. The Witches of Eastwick. The Witches of Eastwick is not a good film, but I absolutely love it. Cher is in it. She's fantastic. Michelle Pfeiffer, who I love, she's in it, fantastic. And Susan Sarandon, who I also love, she's in it, she's fantastic. Jack Nicholson is in it. I've never been a big Jack Nicholson fan. He's one of those people like I could take or leave. Like it took me years to even realize he retired. I was just kind of like, oh, I haven't seen him in anything for a while. And that's when my husband was like, yeah, he retired. He's having memory issues. Like he has dementia, so he had to retire because he couldn't remember his lines and his cues and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, oh my god, that's so sad. But yeah, Jack Nicholson plays Satan, who comes to this little small town and has a relationship with Cher, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Susan Sarandon, gets them all pregnant. They find out he's the devil and that he wants their children that he impregnated them with, so they're doing all they can to get rid of him. It is a horror / comedy, and I thoroughly enjoy it, but I do recognize it's not that good. It's not a good film. Like, it's not something, I recommend it if you just want to watch something cutesy and just very 80s and silly, but even for that, it's not good. But I thoroughly enjoy it. I love it. Devil's Advocate with Al Pacino and Keanu Reeves. Love it. Fantastic. Charlize Theron's in it. I thought it was really good. I think it came out when I was in 8th grade. Maybe 7th. I can't remember. But again, like I said, I grew up in a very Christian household, so I was just like, religious horror movies. I was like, no. But I broke down and watched it in high school, and I was like, oh my god, this is so good. Next on the list is Carrie. The original one, the first one, was Sissy Spacek. Enough said. It is a near perfect movie. It is an absolutely perfect horror movie. 10 out of 10. Nothing wrong with it. It's fantastic. It's amazing. If you haven't seen it, I don't know what your problem is. Needful Things. I think when I saw it, it was I know Ed Harris is in it. I think it was a miniseries on television. It wasn't in the theaters. Basically, Needful Things is a Stephen King novel that they turned into a miniseries at the time, and it's about how Satan opens a store in this really small town and how his presence starts fucking everything up and affecting everybody there. It's really dark. It's really twisted. It's really good. Sleepwalkers. Sleepwalkers is absolute trash, and I love it. Cat people. The film is about fucked up cat people, and the mom and the son have an incestuous relationship. And like the makeup in it's terrible. The shots are bad. It's so awful. It's good. It's drive-in movie theater good. Like, it's so bad. It's fantastic. I love it. I love Sleepwalkers. Oh my god. Oh, Christine. Christine is surprisingly good. Like a really, really good horror movie. Like an 8 out of 10 horror movie. Like, you would not think a horror movie about a haunted car would ever be decent, but it's good. I mean, I didn't even think a book about it would be good, but apparently it is, and apparently the movie is. Like, they're both fantastic. I think Christine came out the year I was born. Yeah, I think it came out in '83, but fantastic. It honestly is really good. Like I said, you would not expect a horror movie about a haunted car to be well done, and it is. Next on the list is Killer Clowns from Outer Space. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. And it is drive-in movie theater bad. Like, I want to go to a drive-in theater and watch Killer Clowns from Outer Space on the screen because it's so stupid that I love it. It's such a cult horror film. Oh my god, so good. I mean, it's called Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and they and they spell clown with the K, just like killer. Oh god, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. So good, so good. It's trash, and I love it. Sleepy Hollow, the Johnny Depp and Christina Ricci version. Well done. Absolutely love it. So good. Tales from the Hood. Tales from the Hood's another one that's like I was not expecting to be good. When I first initially watched it, well, when I first heard of it, I was like, that is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. What the fuck? And I think years and years later, I was laying on the couch, bored out of my mind. I came across it, started watching it. I was like, wow, this is surprisingly decent. So Tales from the Hood is on here. In addition to Leprechaun, the first one, and the only first one. They made a Leprechaun in space. I can't believe it. But whatever lines Warwick Davis's pockets, I'm fine with because I adore him. But yeah, Leprechaun, the first one with Jennifer Aniston, pre-nose job, so good. Babadook, the Babadook. That is another one that I heard of through word of mouth by friends and started reading reviews about it, and everybody and their mom was talking about it. So I checked it out and I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. It's great. It's great. Essie Davis plays the mom in it, and I know her from Mrs. Fisher's Murder Mystery, so I was really excited to see her in something different, and she nailed it. She was out of the park. I loved it. So yeah, the Babadook's on him. VHS, the first one, not the second one. I did see both. I do remember the second one me being pretty mad about it at the end, but I do remember the first VHS me being like, okay, this isn't bad. I do remember being creeped out a little bit, but not a lot. But it surprised me. That was mainly why I liked it a lot. I was just kind of like, I did not expect for that to be good. I thought this was going to be hot garbage, but it was good. It wasn't bad. Clown is not good. However, I like the premise of Clown. I like the idea that this man just trying to, please his kid for their birthday, and he puts on this clown costume that literally gets stuck to him, and the soul of the evil clown that possesses him. I know that sounds cheesy and corny and terrible, but so does every other horror movie premise when you think about it. But Clown, I like the premise. It was just poorly executed. But that is something I would actually like to see remade with a better writer and a more skilled director. Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. I adore her. I think she's funny. I think that her persona is great. I love it. I love this idea of like this sexy hot goth chick who, just gives her commentary on crap horror movies. And her movie Mistress of the Dark, I've seen it a million times, and it always cracks me up. Her one-liners are just so, I love it. I absolutely love it. Is it good? No. But is it enjoyable because it's not good? Absolutely. Krampus. When Krampus came out, it got all these bad reviews, and then I watched it and I was like, why? I was really lost. I was just like, it's a Christmas comedy horror film. What did nobody get? What were we missing? I was invested. I thought it was really good. I thought the scary parts were scary. I thought the funny parts were funny. And it was set at Christmas, which I always think is an interesting time to set horror movies. I don't know. But I clearly saw something in it that a lot of people didn't, and I enjoyed it. Next up, Little Shop of Horrors, the Rick Moranis one. There is one, I can't remember which year it was made, but there was one made before that, and it's I think it's Jack Nicholson's very first role in it, and I think it's a very small role in it. But I tried to watch that, and I think I fell asleep through it. It's an old black and white film. Not that that's anything wrong with that. I love old black and white films, but I fell asleep during it, and I tried to rewatch it again years later, and I think I fell asleep again, and I was just like, okay, this wasn't meant to be. But Little Shop of Horrors with Steve Martin and Rick Moranis, oh my god, and Tisha Campbell, oh my god, and Tashina Arnold, who play the background singers, oh my god. I love it. My school put on that play, I think junior year? Was it junior or senior year? I can't remember, but they were so good. I was shocked at, how well it was, how good it was. But yeah, Little Shop of Horrors, it's how could you not like it? How could you not like the music in it? Suddenly seem, oh my god, and the premise, and I love it. I love it, and I think it's a really great horror comedy. Ghostbusters 1 and 2, enough said. I did watch the all female version of it, and I want my money back. If I ever have the privilege of meeting Melissa McCarthy and Kristen Wiig, who I do love, I will, however, ask both of them for my money back for that film. I was highly upset about how terrible it was. Ghostbusters 1 and 2, love those movies. I absolutely loved the first one when Dan Aykroyd calls the villain in it. I think he's the chief of staff or something for the mayor or whatever. He calls him Dickless. I mean, how do you not love it? Like, are you the gatekeeper? There is no Dana, only Zool. I could quote that movie all day. Trick or Treat. Trick or Treat was surprisingly scary and a little creepy for a horror comedy. And Dylan Baker's in it. Dylan Baker is like the king of creepy. No matter what it is, horror, comedy, romance, drama, he is always the creep factor. And he's made a career out of it, and God bless him for it, because he's so good at it. And you know what? Get your bag any way you can. Gremlins. 10 out of 10 horror film. Again, like Monster Squad and The Witches. I had to look because I forgot the other one that I referenced. But again, like Monster Squad and The Witches, it's one of those films I grew up with. I absolutely love it. It could do no wrong. 10 out of 10. Horror film. It's fantastic. I don't give a fuck about any plot holes or, plot holes you want to poke in the quote-unquote rules about the Magwai and the Gremlins. I don't care. It's great. It's fantastic. I absolutely love it. And if you've never seen it, I don't want to know you. The Toxic Avenger. I saw The Toxic Avenger in middle school during the summer when I was up late one night, like 3 o'clock in the morning. I think I was watching USA, and it was on. And I watched it. I was like, what is this stupidness? And I was like, this is ridiculous. And I couldn't tell if you were supposed to take it seriously or not. And that's when I discovered what cult films are, and, satirical films, and, B movies. And once I figured that out, I had a newer appreciation for really bad movies like, The Toxic Avenger, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and all that kind of stuff. And so I went back and rewatched it with my newer knowledge, and I just absolutely love them. So yeah, The Toxic Avenger is ridiculous. And it is B movie gold. Tucker and Dale versus Evil. That's another one that was word of mouth. I heard a lot of really great things about it. And so my husband and I watched it one day, and we cracked up through the whole film. It's a horror comedy. It's absolutely hilarious. If you haven't seen it, watch it. The Haunting of Hill House, the latest version that Mike Flanagan has directed for Netflix. I thought that entire miniseries was amazing. I absolutely love it. It's probably in my top 25 favorite TV shows now. I just thought it was really brilliant and well crafted and very smart and very well written and really good direction. And I thought all the actors did their fucking job. It just it revamped horror for me of what it could be. I mean, we spend all these fucking years with American Horror Story, which is a garbage show. I'm sorry if you like it, but it's not a good show. And then, you have The Haunting of Hill House come out, and it shows you, okay, that's what it should be. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Again, drive-in B-movie horror. Love it. I mean, it's a movie about giant killer tomatoes. Who came up with these? Killer clowns, killer tomatoes, gremlins, sometimes horror is so creative and ridiculous. Like, I love it. But yeah, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes is great, and I think it's one of John Travolta's very first like movie roles. I think he's in it. Next up, The Orphanage. Loved it. I heard some buzz around it when it first came out, but I wasn't really interested. I found out it was like a foreign horror movie, and I was just kind of like, I'll see it when I see it. And then I think a couple years went by, and then I finally watched it on a friend's recommendation, and I was like, oh my god, this is so good. And it's sad. It's actually very touching and very sad. But yeah, The Orphanage, it's a great film. And Geraldine Chaplin's in it. Geraldine Chaplin is the... Oh, god damn it. I can't remember if she is Charlie Chaplin's daughter or Charlie Chaplin's granddaughter. I think she's his daughter. I know Una Chaplin is his great-granddaughter or his granddaughter. Oh, god damn it. But, you know, fuck. Anyway, she's in it, and I will put a correction at the bottom explaining exactly who she is to Charlie Chaplin. Hereditary is on here. I already spoke about that. Hush is on here. I absolutely loved Hush. Hush is it a Netflix film? I think it's a Netflix film. I know it's been on Netflix for God knows how long, so it might be a Netflix film. But it is a horror film about a deaf woman alone in her house being stalked by a serial killer. And it does a really good job of suspense. Like, the tension and suspense. I mean, because she can't hear anything. So how is she going to protect herself against this guy trying to break into her house? Oh, God. And it's so good. The tension and suspense, like, that it builds in it, like how badly you're rooting for her and you want her to get away, it's so good. I love it. I had to have a Hitchcock film on here, of course. I chose The Birds. I do like Psycho, but you know, I feel like Psycho is one of those things where everybody says that they love it. I think there was a remake of The Birds turned into a television movie of the week or something when I was in elementary school, and I think I remember watching it. I can't remember, but I saw that first, and then once I found out that it was remade of a Hitchcock film, that's when I saw the original The Birds with Tippi Hedren, and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was really good. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the very first one, the original, not the one with Nicole Kidman and who's in it? Daniel Craig. Not that one. I do like the Donald Sutherland one from the 70s. It's not bad, but the one from I think it's the 40s or the 50s. I think it's 40s. But the one from the 40s, that one is my favorite iteration of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I love it. It's really good. It's got this incredible social commentary, social and political commentary about I think it's communism that it's referencing or is an allegory for. Alien, the first one, just the first one, and only the first one. I do like the second one, but I spend most of the time laughing at Bill Paxton's character in the second one that I don't really pay attention to anything else much that's happening in it. But the first Alien, fantastic, top tier movie. Poltergeist, the first one, not the Sam Rockwell remake. Oh my god. I watched the Sam Rockwell remake just to see how bad it was, and it was utter garbage. Oh my god. I can't even talk about it. And I even like the really shitty sequels afterwards. There's the second and the third. I remember one of the characters died. I think it was the tiny old woman died, and I think it's the third one, or is it the second one? I can't remember. It's either in the second or the third where like she dies, and then the teenage daughter at some point like crawls out of her body just screaming, and it is a visual. It is a fucking visual. That will always stick with me. Swamp Thing is on this list. Again, Swamp Thing's one of those B-movie cult classic horror films that I saw at 3 o'clock in the morning on like USA Today. I vividly remember the part where he and the woman wanted to have sex, but uh, he can't have sex with the Swamp Thing, so he gave her like this plant or whatever to eat. Like, oh wait, did he eat it or did she eat it? I can't remember. One of them ate it. It's got to be him because once he ate it, his body turned human and allowed them to have sex, and there was this soft core porn sex scene in the middle. So yeah, me as a elementary school, middle schooler. Yeah, no, it was elementary school. As an elementary schooler, watching this at 3 o'clock in the morning was front and center, intrigued. But yeah, just it being this B-level cult classic drive-in theater kind of horror movie, I absolutely love Swamp Thing. I wanted to watch the TV show with Crystal Reed. And I thought it would be on HBO because HBO is owned by Warner Brothers and Warner Brothers owns DC. But apparently DC has its own channel and that's where it was airing. So, and I don't have that channel, and I have enough subscriptions. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to watch that at some point. But I do want to watch the TV show. And last on this list is The Twilight Zone. I love The Twilight Zone. The original, not the Jordan Peele version. I tried to watch the Jordan Peele version. It's not good. Yeah, I watched the first 2 episodes of it and I was like, I don't think I need to do this again. Yeah, the original with Ron Sterling. Oh, it's so good. Like, you know, the Pig People episode. My absolute favorite episode with the guy who just wants to be alone to read his books, and then he's left being the last man on the planet, and he's surrounded by nothing but books. But what happens? He breaks his fucking glasses, and now he can't see, and now he can't read any of the books, and he's all alone. Oh. There's a Shatner episode that I love. There's the one episode with the mob mentality. I can't remember the name of it, but yeah. The one with there's the one episode where there's a bunch of people in these odd costumes in this room that has no doors or no windows, and they can't get out. They don't know how they got there, yada yada yada. And then by the end of the episode, you find out that they're toys in a toy bin. Ah! Twilight Zone was so good. It's so clever. God, that show is amazing. And I love the Twilight Zone movie with John Lithgow and the one with the gremlin that's on the plane that only he can see, and so he's freaking out on this plane that's going through a thunderstorm, a rainstorm, and there's this fucking creature on the plane attempting to take the plane down, and no one believes him. Everyone thinks he's just crazy, and like, oh God, Twilight Zone it's not even 10 out of 10, it's 20 out of 20. It's so brilliant, and I wish there were TV shows that were still that good. I mean, there are great TV shows out there, absolutely, don't get me wrong, but that show is fucking top tier. It's probably in my top 5 favorite TV shows of all time. But yeah, it makes the horror movie list. It's rounding us out at the end. So yeah, that was me flapping my gums about all the horror movies that I love. And let me know which ones are your favorite. Let me know if there's any on my list that you love too, and we can talk about them. Absolutely. But in the meantime, love you guys. Please stay safe. Have a good Halloween. Wash your hands. Wash your face. Take care of your feet. Wear a mask. Get vaccinated. And have a great Halloween. Bye.